What's up guys, John from Beyond ARTV. It is time for a recap of our festival experience at Boston Calling Music Festival. What started off as a nightmare slowly turned into a fun and excellent weekend. Yes, thank God we had a better time as it went on. So obviously, I went with my girlfriend, who many of you probably know as Infinity on Hannah. If you want to check out her video and her channel, I will link those in the description down below. If you would like to see a more detailed experience of our time in Boston, more than just the music, I will be covering some of it, but mainly I'm going to be focusing on more of the music elements of our time there. So it started off, I will say this, we had a rough time getting there. We had other plans in Boston other than just Boston Calling. Yeah. We wanted to go to a Red Sox game, so Hannah kindly for Valentine's Day bought me tickets to go see them, and so obviously we were gonna go. She got great tickets right off of first base, and I'm a pretty big baseball fan. For those of you who don't know, I wear a Red Sox hat in a lot of my videos, and sometimes I wear Red Sox shirts. She bought me a David Ortiz authentic jersey, and I had that, and I was super stoked to go to the game, but unfortunately we had some travel delays, didn't we?
Yeah, sadly, our flight, we first flew from Charlotte, North Carolina to New York.
And LaGuardia Airport.
Yeah. And that flight, eventually it was delayed a few times and then it got canceled.
It was frustrating to say the least, and we had some other complications leading up to that, like forgetting a phone charger, having trouble getting our food that never actually came whenever we ordered it.
So many little things that add up and just make you want to fucking die.
We even waited for our standby flight instead of choosing to take a rental car because we were like, it's so much extra money. Yeah. And I know a lot of people probably think, oh, you're YouTubers, you've got money and everything like that. Ha! Ha! No, we only got tickets to Boston Calling because we got the early bird tickets, and plus we had some gifts like we had gotten for Christmas because they went on sale like in January. So we were like blessed enough to be able to get like the cheapest Boston Calling tickets available.
Cheapest place we stayed at, it was like less than $60 a night.
And we almost thought we were gonna have to cancel the trip because we literally could not afford a hotel. And we finally got there. We were racing like the whole way. This rental car had Sirius XM satellite. We were listening to the Red Sox game on the radio, and I was like, we can make it, and you were like, we're not gonna make it.
I was so mad because I bought those tickets so long ago.
And they're expensive.
I should have waited. Like, I don't know.
They're expensive tickets.
Gonna miss it.
Like, it was such an. I felt so bad because these are expensive tickets, and like
we were gonna miss the whole thing.
Right, and we thank God they had a rain delay.
That was the thing that saved us.
That saved us. The Red Sox had a rain delay, and we were able to get to the stadium right as they were starting the 8th inning, and I walked out right as one of my favorite players, Benintendi, I believe it was, that hit the home run. He had a 2-run home run right as we walked in the stadium, was just going crazy. People were cheering, and I felt so happy because I was like, we finally got here. I just drove forever, but we finally got here.
It was like a reward.
It was a reward, and the Red Sox got a couple of other hits. Mookie Betts got a hit, and then one of my favorite pitchers, Craig Kimbrell, closed out the game. He got the save, and I got to watch him strike out the side pretty much, and he got the final strikeout to win the game, and they beat the Rangers. And we were like, this isn't going to be enough, so we got tickets to actually on StubHub. We got really, really cheap tickets to go see them again.
Last minute.
Thank you so much to whoever was selling those so cheap on StubHub. That was a huge blessing. We got to go to the Saturday game, but before that, I'm going to get to the music stuff. I'm talking about the other stuff first. There will be a timestamp in the description if you just want to hear about the music, but real quick, I'm going to talk about my experience with the Red Sox. So we decided we were going to tour the field, and we got to go out like on the field, everything like that.
Doing batting practice.
And we went to the special tour though. We went to
it was the pregame tour or whatever. Yeah,
the pregame tour is different from your standard tour of Fenway Park.
I think it's more time and stuff.
It is more time. You get to have more freedom about what you do too, and you also get to see the players like warming up and stuff. So that was really, really cool, and I actually got to see on the field. You can see us here. That's us. And we get to see batting practice. That was going on like right behind us. You could actually see players out on the field in this little photo. And I'll throw up a few other pictures and stuff on screen as we go with the festival and the game and everything like that. But obviously, at the game we had been to the night before, we got to sit super close because no one was there.
Yeah,
it was raining, and we were right at home plate. But then we got to go out on the field. We're getting to learn about Fenway Park, which is a very historic place, one of the oldest ballparks in existence. I've been a huge Red Sox fan since I was a kid, and this was just a dream come true. They take us up into the Green Monster. If you know, that's what all the Bostonians say, Monster. And we went up in there, and that's like the huge wall. And they were having batting practice, and they were like, oh, you know, you might watch out for balls. They might come up here because they're doing batting practice and the players on the Red Sox are hitting balls. And so we saw a couple come near like the wall, or they were hitting off the wall. And then one just got totally hit out of the park, and then one starts coming towards us, and I'm like, oh my god, this is it. I was ready. I kicked back into baseball mode. I played for 12 years, and I stretched out, like the ball was like, I jumped up, and it went just over me, but there was a gate, like a barrier, like right there, and it banked off of that, landed, or it didn't land, it hit off of the guy that was next to me. It like bounced off of him. Everybody was scrambling to try and get this.
I was hiding.
Because this is like the first ball that had like come over, like actually like stayed in the green monster seats. And it bounces off of him, and then it still seemed like it was going kind of fast. I just snatched it out of midair. Boom. Caught it. I was so happy.
It's probably a big highlight for you weekend.
It was one of the biggest highlights, and it felt so rewarding. I believe it was Dustin Pedroia that hit it. From there, let's talk about some of the musical experiences. Who all did we see throughout the weekend at Boston Calling?
First band we saw was Car Seat Headrest, which we sadly didn't get to catch their full set because the lines
were so massive.
Insane.
Yeah,
it was basically a giant crowd of like literally thousands and thousands of people.
But we did manage to cut the line. I'm sneaky. I realized that the left side of the line, there was just like, it was chaos. People weren't organizing it at all. This was the only day that it was like that. It was day 1 of the festival. Day 2 and 3 were fine. We went through very, very quickly on those days. So I circumvented the line by just slithering through, because we saw a couple of people like get out of line and start walking over. We probably jumped about 1,000 people because people didn't realize that there were lines over to the left that like nobody was really getting in. So we literally saved our asses on that one, because one of the main acts that you wanted to see.
Yeah, that was one of my bands that I really wanted to see.
And you had never seen them.
No, so sadly we missed like the first half of their set mainly, which were songs that I really wanted to hear.
Fill in the blank, Vincent we missed, unfortunately.
The LP Club's gonna be so mad.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, buddy, but it was out of our control. We
tried. We were pissed too. Like, I was really so mad.
We tried so hard, but thank God, me making that move is the only reason we saw. We got there during Destroyed by Hippie Powers, which is really awesome. And then we realized that, oh wow, VIP section, like they're kind of floating. They're not really controlling this, and it was pretty much empty in there. So I was like, hey, like let's just walk through there, and you're supposed to scan your wristband as you go through it.
There's no like barrier or anything.
Yeah,
like,
there's nothing. It's just you could walk right through. So we literally did that for the end of Car Seat Headrest. We saw their last 2 or 3 songs there. That was a lot of fun being that close. And we're like, okay, Mac DeMarco plays here next. Let's stay here. So nobody says anything the whole time, and Mac DeMarco was incredible. I wanted to see him, but I didn't realize just how much fun he was in like a live setting. He was incredible. He's so funny. He's entertaining as hell. We thought that he was like taking forever, you remember?
Yeah.
But he was actually early. We thought his set was supposed to start at like 6:20, and it was actually 7:20, but he went on at like 6:45.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
He was actually early. So our apologies to Mac for getting like, wow, like where are you? Why aren't you playing yet? Anyways, he starts his set. He's funny as hell. He's up there with a bottle of wine and just making a lot of onstage banter and jokes and that sort of thing. He brought a kid up on stage.
Oh yeah, slow dance. He skipped his prom.
Yeah, to go to see Mac DeMarco. He wanted, I believe it was the bass player John, to dance with him, and so he held him from behind and they just kind of rocked. I'll show you guys some clips for the stuff that I do have in photos and that sort of thing, so you can see exactly what we're talking about. But it was so much fun, just that whole set. That was a funny moment. At one point he was like smoking a cigarette, and he's like, has anybody got a light? And probably like 20 people instantly throw their lighters on stage, and then they don't stop coming. They're throwing these lighters all over the place, and he's just like and finally he caught one, and then he's like, they're still coming up, and then eventually he's just like, what else you got? And so people just, throughout the song, he was playing No Other Heart, and throughout the song people are just throwing stuff up on stage. And we're in the VIP section, and we had just met up with some fans before that set, and I believe it was Kevin and a couple of his friends. I can't remember everybody's name, I'm so sorry, but you guys were awesome. We hung out with them throughout the weekend because we kept seeing them at literally almost every set that we went to. So they were like, throw some stuff up on stage, and I was like, all right. And so I got up on the little step that they have in the VIP so you can like see better. And I didn't have anything to throw. I took out of my wallet 2 Dave and Buster's like play cards, and I started throwing them up on stage.
Offended. Brian would be offended.
And then he crowd surfed at the end, and he sounded great live too. That's the most important thing. Like his set was really, really like chill. You know, he's got that certain vibe to him, the jizz jazz as he describes it. And I think even Hannah, someone who wasn't super familiar with his music, had a really good time.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and
pretty cool.
And his musical style is just it's kind of like crowd pleasing, especially in a setting like that. And it was a ton of fun, like I said. So we caught a little bit of Chance the Rapper at the end of that night, where neither one of us are super familiar with him. I know that's a crime, but you know, like I've heard. I shouldn't say that I'm not familiar with him, because I've listened to.
It's not huge into.
I've listened to a lot of his projects, and I'm just like, it's not for me. Like, I'm not super into like his style and everything like that, but I definitely respect the hell out of him, and I really like what he does with like charities and that sort of thing, and just campaigning for like kids in like Chicago and really all over the place. But we caught some of his set. I heard a few songs from like Coloring Book and that sort of thing, and then we headed out because he was one of the headliners. There was so many people there, and it was like that for every night, obviously, with the headliners. You had Chance, you had Mumford & Sons, and then you had Tool, and we did not get close for either of those, but Mumford and Tool were very entertaining for what we could see. It was just that at that point of the night, you're so exhausted.
Yeah, they're not like one of our, you know, had to see.
So we didn't get super close for them, and like there was definitely songs that I was dying to hear from both of them. Unfortunately, I did not get to hear Vicarious by Tool, but the last day of that festival, it was just so intense because there was Tool fans everywhere. They were all over the place, and they all have Tool shirts. And so it went from like being kind of a mix of like indie and alternative younger crowd to being like older men, like middle-aged men, and they were all kind of like all about Tool. And it was kind of scary, to be honest. It was a little bit scary because they're always like they were all drinking, and they were just like there was a lot more smoke in the air that day, like cigarettes and stuff.
Some girl that I guess passed out or got hurt
during Tool's set.
They were running her.
Right
like 2 or 3 people were carrying her, just running as fast as they could. I was like, oh my god!
And they ran right.
Okay.
We had to move out of the way because they ran literally right by us.
On the ground, yeah.
But it was cool to get to see Tool live. It was incredible for just like who they are. They did not allow the cameras to be on them for like the big screen. They were showing some like on-screen visuals from like music videos. I got to hear them play songs like The Pot, and Sober was really cool to see live. It was good for what I saw of the set, obviously, but unfortunately we had to leave a little bit early just because, you know, we were so exhausted, and the fact that Ubers and Lyfts are so expensive when everybody's leaving. Yeah, we were leaving the next day. We had an early flight, so we had to get out of there. But in terms of like who we saw on Saturday, we saw the XX. This is night 2, the XX, the 1975, and Mumford & Sons. I already talked a little bit about Mumford. That was cool. I'm not the biggest fan, but I definitely vibe with a lot of their stuff. They did their thing, and they were incredible. They had that festival lit up. The place was going crazy for them, and I can understand why they have such a devoted following. I'm just not into everything, but they played a lot of my favorite songs, and I was definitely vibing with it. The 1975, I think, was your favorite set.
It was really fun.
Of the weekend.
They always have a great, fun, high-energy set, so I went hard during that one.
Right. Their lighting game's always on point.
Yeah,
Maddie was wearing like a really weird like outfit whenever he came out on stage.
He had like a hoodie on with a hood over it.
And it had like flames on the back of the jacket or something. It looked really weird. And then he had that typical like kind of like...
It was like a collar.
How do you say it? It's like a very traditional type shirt. They're kind of like poofy
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, and it looks very like, I don't know, Renaissance or something like that. It's weird. So Matt, he's always funny. I like him. He's funny. He's just up there not giving a fuck. He's smoking cigarettes during a change of heart. And he's entertaining. And I loved like Loving Someone. They played Change of Heart. They did not play Robbers, which they robbed.
I want to talk about it.
They robbed festivals everywhere. Just before that, we had to miss part of the XX's set, but we got to see like the first like a little over a half hour, which was awesome. I'd really been wanting to see them live, and Jamie XX was great on the production side of things, and then Romy and Oliver on their various duties and trading vocals and everything. They sounded really sharp live. It was a really muddy area.
It was very muddy. I saw so many white shoes that were just mud, and I was like, ugh, it's making me cringe.
I can't can't deal with that. I can't deal with all, like, some people are just like, yeah, I'll live for the mud. And I'm like, don't get it on me.
We couldn't because we have a flight. Like, we have to pack up our shit.
Right. And, like, what am I going to do with all these muddy clothes? Yeah. No, that's not going to work. But there was 3 stages at the festival that we were kind of running between. And the blue one was the furthest away. It was, like,
of course, and that was where we had to go the most. And it just felt, like, so long to get over there and get back.
It's, like, over here at the corner.
And then the other 2 were closer together.
Then you've got the red stage here and then the green stage
here.
So but the blue is all the way over there. And it was probably, like, almost, I would say probably like 3/4 of a mile, maybe a half-mile walk. And whenever you're super tired from standing and jumping at concerts all day, that feels like a much longer walk. So, anyways, that was the great experience on Saturday. That was our favorite day. Well, that was the day of the Red Sox tour and game that won 6-0. Yeah, it was great outside. I got a little sunburned.
Of course.
And
somehow.
That leads to a funny story for the next day. So our friend Brittany, who you might know as being on The Voice, Brittany Butler, she has a YouTube channel with over 100,000 subscribers. We met up with her because she was like, I'm from Boston. Like, let's get brunch. And we did that, and I was like, yo, random thought, but like I got sunburned today, and I don't really want to buy sunscreen because you can't take it on a plane. Like, do you have any sunscreen that I can borrow?
It's the most random.
It's such a random request, and
she came through.
Yeah, she was totally understanding, and she was like, yeah, I think I've got some, and so she brings sunscreen the next day to meet up with us at brunch. It was a lot of fun. I'll put up a couple of pictures that we took together outside of this place.
Yeah, that was really cool to get to talk to like another YouTuber that like kind of knows what we deal with, and also like to talk about music. We have very similar music tastes, so it was pretty fun to like talk about growing up, like listening to that stuff.
We had a lot of fun at brunch with her, and we had to take off straight from there to go to Sunday at the festival because we had a stacked lineup. It was our longest day in terms of being at Boston Calling. We had a little gap where we got to go home in between, back to our Airbnb in between Pup and Run the Jewels. But this is the lineup for Sunday. 5 acts. We got to see Pup. Then it was Run the Jewels. Then Cage the Elephant. And then we had Weezer. And then we had Tool. So that's 5 all in one day. And it was a blast, but holy shit.
We were so dead.
Holy shit, we were dead. It was such a tiring experience, but I wouldn't trade it. We had a blast at Pup. They really tore through their set, had a high-octane crowd. They were really into it. Pup they seemed to be very impressed with like how the crowd were doing. I could see their singer smiling throughout.
Some mosh pits going on.
Oh yeah, circle pit. Definitely some circle pits. And they played a lot of stuff from their newest album, The Dream Is Over, which I fucking love. One of my favorite albums of last year. And it was incredible seeing some of those live and just the energy that they had, and they matched the crowd as well. And then right after that, we got to go home, like I said, but we got back for one of my most hyped sets of the weekend, Run the Jewels. Running Jewels fast. We got to see them live, and we once again ran into our friends that were fans of our videos, and that was really cool. We got to talk to them for a little bit before that set. Somebody was passing a joint around in the crowd, and that definitely made the experience even cooler. I think especially for Hannah, not being super familiar or into their music. Even you had a good time at that set.
It was very interesting. It was fun. I was like laughing and just smiling the whole time watching. I was watching on the screen because I'm too short, of course, to see the stage where we were. But yeah, that crowd was hyped.
Oh, that was probably the best crowd.
It was probably the most energetic crowd.
They were loving it, and obviously I was loving it. I was jumping around, dancing with you, just jumping. Like we were right there with like our friends that we made for the weekend. That was a really fun. It was a blast. And Killer Mike and LP are just such talented MCs.
I like what the little speeches they gave too.
Yeah, they gave a couple. But if you guys don't know that Killer Mike is a huge advocate for he was for Bernie Sanders and like those kind of values and that sort of thing and human right. And they made it a point to say several times, how rap has this stereotype of like hating gays and stuff like that. They made it a point.
And disrespecting women.
Right, and they made it a point. They were like, watch out, like don't just be like trampling over like the women in the crowd.
Help people get up if they fall, like, and if you touch a woman where she doesn't want to be
I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
Yeah, I love that.
that was awesome. They were on the nose with their performance. I'll be putting some of this stuff on screen for you guys as we go. But I think that and Mac DeMarco were my favorite sets that I saw the entire weekend. From there, we moved over to Cage the Elephant, and that was probably my least favorite that I saw, unfortunately.
We didn't really get to stay for a lot of it.
We didn't get to stay for a lot of it, and correct me if I'm wrong about the energy as it went on, but I just kind of felt like they were like, they sounded good, but it almost sounded like just like studio quality.
I honestly don't even remember their set. Like, that's not good.
Right.
You know.
You were a little bit
we
stoned.
I know, we were far away too.
Yeah.
But like still, like I don't know. I don't even remember like how they sound or what they were playing.
I don't like their newest album. They were playing several cuts from that, and I was just like, let's go get a good spot at Weezer, because like they did not sound bad.
And we're both like really big Weezer fans. So.
Right, and we got a great spot for Weezer. We were
so close. Like I did not think we were gonna get that close at all.
No, but everybody was at Cage the Elephant, and I don't want to knock Cage the Elephant fans by any means. I'm a pretty big fan of that band, but they were sounding fine and everything, but I just felt like, okay, I'm not close at all. It just sounds like listening to it on my iPhone or something, you know? So I was like, let's go over to Weezer. We got like probably like 8th row back from the barrier, and we were like front and center. It was fantastic.
Awesome.
We've both seen Weezer 3 times, and we're in unanimous agreement that this is the best that they've sounded.
That was so good.
Rivers,
and the visuals too.
Yeah, the visuals were awesome, and I love Rivers Cuomo.
He's so funny.
I love that man. He's so social.
Like, awkward.
He's so socially awkward and nerdy and geeky, but he comes out and says, like, after they played their first song, I think, what was the first song that they played? Was it My Name is Joe? Oh yeah, it was Hash Pipe. And right after Hash Pipe, he gave a little thing in between and said, "Hey Boston, what up, dog? It's Weezer time."
But like in the most awkward way, like he doesn't even like laugh at himself or smile. He just like goes with it. You just have to see it for yourself. It was just hilarious.
Can I just say that he looks so young still?
He does.
He put a sombrero on during Beverly Hills and is just out there rocking the hell out, like shredding on his guitar. They
sounded great in the guitars.
They did. The guitars were great. Feels Like Summer, their new single, sounded really good in a live setting. Come on, haters. Come on. I mean,
don't like turn away just because you don't like it.
I know. Fun. And like Weezer have played with so many like I guess more pop-leaning sounds over the years. Like it's not something that I was just like so like thrown off by whenever I first heard the song.
Yeah, me either. I liked it.
The only thing I was really disappointed by, they did not play anything off of Everything Will Be Alright in the End, like one of my favorite Weezer albums, other than a little clip of Back to the Shack during the little medley. But I got to hear Dope Nose. We heard Memories. We had never heard that before off of Hurley, and Troublemaker off of Red, and yeah, it was really cool. My Name is Jonas sounded fantastic. Our son,
I think that was the second song they played.
I said our son. Our hamster is named. He's named after that. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
After My Name is Jonas. It's not the Jonas Brothers. It's Weezer. Okay, get it right. Anyways, we had a blast at that set. I wish they played more off of Everything Will Be Alright in the White Album, but whatever. That's fine. They were pleasing the crowd, and they certainly did. The crowd was definitely going crazy for them. Overall, after that first day, we had a great time.
Experience.
So if you want to see Hannah's video or check out her channel,
stories and other nightmares we went through.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Oh, we had some nightmares for sure. That'll be linked in the description down below along with her channel. Go check that out. Be sure to leave a like on this video, and let me know if in the future you would like to see if I go to a festival, if you want to see me do this type of thing, or just concerts in general. Let me know in the comments section down below. If you're able to, help me out on Patreon on a monthly basis. It's the little annotation floating below me in the corner, or else that video that I talked about for Hannah will be right there, or a recent video from Beyond ARTV. Other than that, you can connect with me on social media linked in the description, and I'll see you very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.